Organic Instinct, we could say the inception of Organic Instinct started with the birth of my first child 21 years ago. When she was placed in my arms, I knew a huge responsibility was placed with us, and I had to take care of her to the best of my ability, because our bodies are an amana, they're a trust from Allah. And therefore the journey to begin exploring different products and what I was using on her and what I was feeding her became paramount. And that's when the chemistry background geneticist microbiologist Derya began to do her thorough investigation of everything that made it into the house. And one thing led to the other, one investigation led to another, and it began to impact friends and other family members. And then questions began, and that was the birth of Organic Instinct 14 years ago. The journey of Organic Instinct began with 50 products on a trestle table in a bedroom in Meadow Heights. And those 50 products were like my world. They were all the things that I was using, from oral care to hair care to even clean confectionery. And those 50 products are now 3,000 products at Organic Instinct. We started with farmers markets, we started with the online space, and 3.5 years ago, we've opened up this store, and it has been the best thing that we have done for the local community and the Australian community, where everyone comes here knowing and trusting that every ingredient has gone through my sieve, and it's a very strict sieve of low-tox products. And they come in and they commonly say things like, we shop blindly at Organic Instinct, Derya, because we know you've done all the hard work. We felt like walking away when things got really tough, because that's the life of business, that's the life cycle, where you have days and weeks where you hit a brick wall and you think, why am I doing this? And is this financially feasible for my family? And the amount of time it takes to run a small business, as well as run a family, and I was pregnant through the business multiple times, was incredibly, it raised a lot of questions for us. Do we continue with this? But what brought me back all the time was my intention. Why am I doing this? Who is the greater benefit for? And yes, of course, it has to be a profitable business for me to continue. But you know what brings joy to me? The joy that I see other people get better as a result of using the products that we advocate. When someone says to me, I slept so much better last night, Derya, or my digestive ailments are so much better, my child's fever is under control now, we're not getting sick 5 times a year anymore, it's only once or twice, that's my why. To change a life when I wake up every morning and put my head on a pillow at night knowing I did something incredible, even if it's just for one person, with the will of God, that makes Organic Instinct and the struggles all worth it. When we first started Organic Instinct, money was scarce. So naturally, making ends meet was quite hard. There would be times when we would be in debt, and we would always try and work out more feasible ways to make cash flow better, to buy larger volumes so that we can pass on those benefits to our customers and still make a decent cut to get the wheels rolling. Now, as 14 years have passed, we've learned a lot of things along the way. We've networked with a lot of businesses and a lot of brands, and that's brought us to where we are today, a financially more stable state. And that still doesn't take away from the fact that small businesses are struggling at the moment. We've definitely felt it on our end, but that's not a reason for us to give up, because there's too much invested in the community. There is too much good happening for us to step away from something that we're doing that's changing lives. So we've come a long way financially. We've got better resources in place. We've got better finances and accountants. We've employed different people. As we've grown, we've employed different people in our business to help us sustainably and exponentially grow Organic Instinct. You do not need a lot of money to start a business. You need an idea, and a very unique idea, and a whole lot of passion. Because if you're purely doing something for the dollar sign, it's not going to last very long. We didn't come this far for money. We came this far because of a passion and a drive. When you wake up every morning and you go to your workplace, you have to have a why as to why you're doing it, and you have to be very excited to do that job. And if you're not, creating a ripple effect change in someone's life, you've really got to reevaluate where you are in your life, what profession you're in, and possibly even think of starting your own gig and doing something that's going to feed your soul. Sadaqah and Zakat are the cornerstone of Organic Instinct success. And I always say this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that the reason why we've come so far is for two main reasons. The blessings of Allah, of course, but the blessings of our parents who are always praying for our success. And secondly, because of the charitable acts that we perform in silence. There's no need to flaunt these charities. There's something that we do in a hidden manner that keep the wheels of Organic Instinct turning. And your charitable acts don't have to be thousands of dollars. They could be something that you dedicate on a weekly basis, like what we do, to automatic charities that deduct from our account, and we don't even have to think about what we've parted with this week. Because the way I see it is, the more you give, the more Allah gives you. In fact, when you don't give and you have a limited, scarce mindset, the more that's the energy that you attract. And you'll feel it in your business transactions. There have been weeks where we've hit a brick wall and we're thinking, how are we going to make ends meet this week with the mortgage, the rent of the premises and stock? And regardless of the situation we were in, we gave whatever was available in our account. And subhanAllah, it actually brings tears to my eyes when I think about it. How that money came back numerous folds and got us out of every issue that we were experiencing for that week or that month. Never hesitate to give, even if your account has got single digits. Allah will always give you more back through your wealth, through your children, through your health, through preventing that potential calamity. Giving is my life motto till my last breath. I get very passionate about charity because I've seen what it's done for my family, and it's a non-negotiable. No matter if your account is, dwindling, even if it's that $5, you've got to do it. So $5 in Allah's eyes could be 5,000. Who are we to judge what monetary value that has? So alhamdulillah. The growth and trajectory of Organic Instinct is to open more stores to reach a wider audience. We would like to go interstate, and we would like to open up another few stores in Melbourne, in different regions of Melbourne where it might be harder for our local customers to get to. So the Sydney audience is huge. That's definitely on the cards for us, if Allah wills. And we know that by continuing to do good and having the right intention, all of these doors will open for us, all in good time. We put in the hard yards, and then we do tawakkul, and we leave it in God's hands. Anyone who says to you that they've got it down pat, that they've got balance of family and business, is lying to you, because there's no such thing. There are weeks where I've invested my heart and soul into the business, hours into the night, and I've had to neglect the children. Well, neglect is probably a little bit of a harsh word, but I've had to surrender them to my husband and my elder daughters to look after. But I know they're in good hands because we've got a routine at home that everyone is following. And then there are weeks where I might have strayed from the business, not brought in so many new products, not be able to respond as fast to customer inquiries because I've had needs at home that I need to attend to. Regardless, my role on this planet is to be the best mother that I possibly can. And my children and my family, as I would imagine your followers would agree with, are their first priority. And then of course my community, my surroundings, and nationally and globally, the ummah is my priority. So we all need to know why we've been brought to earth: to serve God, to serve our families, to serve our community. Everything has a priority level in order. It's so important to support small business now more than ever. We can easily spend our money at major chemists and pharmacies and the multinationals, knowing that they're already the multimillionaires that they want to be, but the small businesses that need to pay for their mortgage, their rent, their child's after school sports, or their even basic schooling, is where we should channel our funds as much as is possibly feasible. And because one business supporting another business becomes a ripple effect. And every time you support one, you're actually supporting another to thrive. And it becomes this cycle of support that you keep your money within the community, and we all help thrive together. I am so proud that we have been able to stay alive and thriving and successful for 14 years when many small businesses tend to crumble after the first few. And I truly believe it comes back to why we're doing this, the intention behind it, and the grace of Allah in keeping our wheels turning always. I'm also super proud at the way living and breathing this line of work has helped transform my family's health. And it's been a great role modeling for my children to see how health should be lived, because one day they're going to be parents of a home and they're going to need all these health tools in their toolbox to stay well, because a strong person is a better person. A healthier person can do so much more for themselves and their community and their ummah than a weak person. And it's very important that we stay strong, we stay healthy, and we stay accountable, because on the Day of Judgment, as we both know, our body is going to be answerable for what we did with it, what we fed it, what we looked at, where we went, how we thought. All of this is going to be accounted for, and I would hope that we'd be able to stand before Allah and give a really good account of what we did. And I'm proud that I'm able to contribute to the community to be able to answer those questions just that little bit easier. If there was one final point I would love to stress to your audience, it would be to never withhold from giving. Never withhold from fear that you will lose from your wealth by giving, because that couldn't be furthest from the truth. When you give, Allah gives you more.